Destin, Florida is so wonderful, it's so awesome, it's the greatest place in the entire world. Blah, blah, blah. Let's find out if living in Destin, Florida is right for you. With so many positives, we cannot skip over the negatives. Today we're going to cover some of the reasons that Destin sucks to live in during the summertime. Hey, it's Mark here with the Hiller Group, brokered by eXp Realty. My team and I have you covered here along the beautiful Florida Panhandle, from Pensacola all the way through Panama City, where our team has been fortunate enough to sell over 1,200 homes in the past 10 years. First up, we have crowds, and more crowds. Destin and the surrounding areas transform into a bustling hub during the summer. So if you're dreaming of a quiet beach escape, think again. You would have had to have come here back in the late 70s, early 80s for that. You might find yourself in a sea of tourists rather than a sea of peace. I actually know of several clients of mine that have bought second homes down in South Florida, like Naples, Cape Coral, and they actually leave Destin during the summer and go further south where it's hotter, because we have opposite seasons in South Florida. There's less tourists there in the summer because it's so hot. They go there and sit in their air conditioning and be able to go out to restaurants and do all the things they like to do because there's no tourists there. This is why I recommend to a lot of people, especially family, friends, come in what we call the shoulder months. Come to Destin in the fall, winter, and spring. Not that summertime, because the traffic is just absolutely horrendous. There's just tons of people, and I highly recommend kind of coming in some of those off-season months. Next up, we have the scorching heat and humidity. Florida's summer weather is not just hot, it's sticky and gross. With temperatures soaring well into the high 90s and low 100s, humidity levels that make your hair feel like you just got out of the sauna, you'll be dreaming of cool air conditioning instead of the hot, steaming beach. I remember when I first moved here, this still rings true to me today. All the locals wanted to do on the weekends was get in the air conditioner, get in the air conditioner. I worked down on the docks and being outside in the sun in the summer all day long, like all anybody wanted to do was hide from the sun on the weekends. But I was new. I had just moved here. That's the last thing I wanted to do was go sit in the air conditioner. Guess what? After that first summer, I was the first guy running for that air conditioner. It was true. It wore on me. I wanted to get the hell out of the sun and in the air conditioner and cool off and relax instead of keep beating up my body with sun all weekend long. Next up, moving to a tourist area or visiting a tourist area, you're going to have tourist prices. Summer in Destin, 30A, Fort Walton Beach means peak season prices. From hotel accommodations to restaurants, your wallet is gonna feel the heat just as much as you do. Some restaurants even have a summer and winter menu with different prices. I happened to stumble upon a local, very famous restaurant. I'm not gonna tell you the name. Oh wait, yes I am, it is.
What are you doing, man?
During the off season, and I could not believe the prices. The waitress quickly said, "Oops, I'm sorry, that's the wrong menu."
I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by that.
You notice how I didn't even know they had different prices? That's because we typically don't go to the tourist spots during tourist season. As a local, these are things you try to avoid. One hack that we found was going in between lunch and dinner. My wife and I decided to start calling it dinner, and that's between maybe 2 to 4 o'clock. So if we're trying to grab a bite to eat at one of our favorite spots, we'll go during that time, eat an early dinner because everybody's still at the beach and it's not right at lunchtime. The cool thing about this is if you have dinner at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, one, you feel like you're 80 years old. But if you have dinner at like 3 o'clock, don't tell my wife this part. Then at 7, everybody seems to get hungry again, and usually I can like convince her to go get ice cream. So it actually works out really well. You can have an early dinner and then still get ice cream later on. All right, back to the video. We do hit the local restaurants during the off season, but quite frankly, we haven't had much of an off season the last 4 to 5 years, right? Destin has become more of a year-round destination. COVID had a lot to do with that. This past year, we saw more normalcy than we've seen over the past several years, meaning I did notice there was less traffic on the roads in the winter months than we have seen in the previous 3 to 4 years. But traffic troubles and inconveniences, if they stress you out, you may want to avoid this area during the summertime. If you're ready to hit that beach or that hot lunch spot, but there's also a million other people trying to get there, traffic can be a real pain. Now, some of that has been solved here recently as they got done with the additions to an additional lane additions on Highway 98, but it still can be bumper to bumper in the summer, especially holiday weekends. You gotta remember, we have an increase around holidays because not only do you have people visiting for summer vacations, but you have other people that live in Birmingham, Atlanta, this is more of a weekend destination because they have like a beach house here. They may come down every weekend. They're always gonna be here for the holiday weekends. So that is an extra busy time. I remember specifically, it was 2002, 4th of July. It took me, I went 10 miles from the Destin Harbor out to Destin, where I was living, to change clothes and come back down to the harbor, right? It took me 1 hour and 48 minutes to get home and took me 3 hours to get back. It was absolutely insane. All to go change clothes and take a shower. I learned how to ask somebody if I could take a shower at their house that lived closer next time.
Can I take a shower? Please. He really stinks.
Anyway, also back in 2002, how the world has changed in Destin, how the area has changed. It used to take me in the morning to drive from Destin to the harbor, 10 to 15 minutes, 10-mile ride. In the evening, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, an hour to an hour and a half. That got way too much for me. I was sick and tired of sitting in the car in the afternoon when I knew it only took me 10 to 15 minutes. I ended up moving to Niceville, which is right across the bay from Destin, because I wanted to get more of my life back, more of my time back than spending my time in a car. So now my family and I live in Niceville. Couldn't be better for us because we can just hop over the Mid-Bay Bridge, be at Destin in 10 minutes, enjoy all that it has to do, but not have to live in the day-to-day traffic of Destin. Up next, we have jellyfish and other marine guests in the water. Yep, I'm talking about the guy in the gray suit, the sharks. Huh? But they're not gonna bother you if you don't bother them, typically. But summer is our jellyfish season, and these not so welcome guests can be a nuisance if you happen to get here when there are a ton of them on the beach, especially one particular species, the manowar. My wife got stung by one of these years ago. She still has a scar on her leg to prove it. Lastly, if you're new to the Destin experience, I highly recommend coming in one of those shoulder months the first time. That way you can take in all these wonderful restaurants you've been hearing so much about, right? But if you're okay with sometimes a couple hour wait at a restaurant before you get seated for dinner, if that doesn't bother you while you're on vacation, feel free to come in the summer. Me personally, I would not wait 2 hours for a restaurant because a lot of the restaurants here do not take reservations. So therefore they just have you kind of wait in line. But if you're okay with that, if you want to grab a drink at the bar while you guys are waiting, that's totally up to you, obviously. And maybe Destin won't be that big of a challenge for you in the summer. But if you're somebody like me who likes to get in, get out, get in, have a great meal and leave, like come in the off months because you're gonna have less hustle and bustle, less crowds, less traffic, less stress for you. If you found this video useful, check out my channel for underrated and overrated activities or my other video about the best time of year to visit Destin. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe for more community videos about this gorgeous slice of heaven here along the beautiful Florida Panhandle. Hit the like and subscribe button, pound that bell, and we'll see you on the next one.